Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Workplace Navigation Podcast. Today I have Janet Davidson, serial entrepreneur in technology, and we're going to discuss the topic of boomers in the workplace, myths of boomers in the workplace. Janet, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to be with you in your podcast and talk about what's important in the workplace.
Yeah, this is a really cool topic, and I think it's of interest to a lot of people. And so, what I'd like to do is ask you a few questions about myths and get your expert view on it. One is that boomers don't stay very long in organizations; they're temporary. How do you feel about that? What's your experience?
Well, my experience is that is not true. We're not looking to uh, go up the ladder at all. What we're looking for is just job satisfaction, and we do not at this point. We don't have the energy to job hop. I think that's the bottom line. And just to be clear, I am a boomer. I am 72. I'm proud of the fact that I have lasted this long, and I've been in technology now for over 40 years since the very beginning. So I've been around, and I have seen it from both sides, both as being a younger executive and now being a boomer. And so I just wanted to make that real clear.
Do you have any statistics that surrounds the average job tenure?
The average job tenure is about 9.6 years for a boomer,
Oh,
whereas younger folks actually job hop closer to every 2 or 3 years.
okay, very good. Uh, so if you're hiring for stability, experience is not a liability. It's often an advantage to your point.
Yeah, I mean, we bring years and years of experience with us. We don't want the management jobs. We're not here to take your job. We're here to do the job, do it well, and then go home. So we are not a threat to the other folks in the company.
Excellent. Okay, myth number two. Boomers cost more because of healthcare and sick leave requirements. So they're just about ready to keel over. What's your feeling? What's your feeling about that?
Well, what people forget is that we actually don't put a lot of stock into whatever your benefits are. At 65, we get Medicare, and a lot of us have supplemental health care, and so we just don't need the health care benefits that you have. We're not saving for retirement, so we're not really that focused on the RSPs or the any of the savings plans that you might have, and many of us just want to consult just on an hourly basis. So that makes it very easy for companies. You don't hire us; we're there on contract and there to do a job.
Mm,
So that I think that's actually valuable.
okay, cool. Myth number three. Baby boomers can't learn technology.
That's one of my favorite ones. We actually invented the technology. If you look at the technology that we invented PCs, chipsets, cell phones, cloud technology. We've been there and done that, and so yeah, we actually know how to use the technology. We do.
Okay. Okay, cool. Myth number four. Boomers demand huge salaries.
No, a lot of times we're there for one of two things. It's to augment what our retirement is, or we're bored. I went back to work. I retired for about 15 minutes. That made my husband my project. And he finally said to me, please do me a favor, go do something. So I had to go find something other than manage my husband. So no, I have a lot of friends who have actually gone back to work after retirement age, and they just want to work. They like the work. They have the work ethic, and no, they just they're not looking for the big score. They're just looking to be fulfilled.
Excellent. Okay, myth number five. Boomers resist change. They don't like to change.
As a cohort, as a group, we've been through downsizing, upsizing, we've been fired, we've been sidelined. So no, I think as a group we're particularly resilient to change, not resistant. We have seen a lot of change in our lifetimes. Uh, just looking at society as a whole, I remember as a child, I used to watch the horse-drawn milk truck go up and down the street delivering milk. I mean, and now we're communicating to Mars. So, we've seen a lot of changes, and I think change excites us rather than confuses us.
Yeah, one of your points that I read, boomers have survived mergers, recessions, reorganizations, and technology shifts. They probably know something or two about adapting to new environments.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
It-
downsized, right-sized, kicked out,
exactly,
fired.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Okay, myth number six. Boomers are less productive or slower.
Uh, I think that comes from being more aware of the we think about the ramifications first.
Mhm.
And perhaps that makes us appear to be slow. When we're given a task, we go, "Whoa, wait a sec. Let me think of all the ramifications around that or unintended consequences before we actually move." So that may make us look slower. It actually makes us more productive in the end because we may have seen this issue before and want to avoid the pitfalls we've already seen.
Yeah, from my standpoint, I like to think of the different scenarios. When I was younger, I would have a scenario or a process or a methodology pop into my head and then rush out and start doing it. But the more I failed, the more I realized that maybe you should look at all the possible methodologies and scenarios and pick the one that works the best. And so that might require a little bit more, thinking before you jump. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. But in the end, it makes us actually more productive, I think, because there are far fewer um, errors along the way. We don't have to
Mm-mm.
redo things.
Yes, right. Exactly. Exactly. Good point. Do it right the first time.
Do it right the first time.
Myth number seven. Boomers are just waiting around to retire.
Actually, from my experience, we did that. We've already done the retirement thing. And like I said before, I have many friends who retired, kind of looked around and said, "Is this it? I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. I want to go back to work." So no, we've already done that.
Would you agree? For instance, I get asked quite often why I have not retired. And I tell them the same thing, and I'm proud of this. I'm working because I like to work. I enjoy my work. So I get to pick what I do. So I go after what I enjoy and I'm doing it and it makes me very happy. There's also a social element to working, I think, where you meet with people, you meet younger people, you're invigorated by that interaction and you can accomplish things. And that's how I feel about it. What do you think?
I am endlessly curious, and I get a kick
Mm-hmm.
out of learning new things every day. And yes, the technology fascinates me. Talking to other people fascinates me. And I remember when I retired for 15 minutes, sitting there going, "Is this it?" I mean, like I could live to be 100. I mean, that's what people are doing these days. So that's another 35 years of doing this, doing nothing. So no, that didn't excite me at all, and that's why I went back to work. A friend of mine is a teacher. She retired for about a week and said, "Nuts to this! I'm going back to teaching." Her husband is in construction. Same thing. They're close to 80. They work full-time jobs, and part of it too is the way we were raised. We as a group we were raised with a very high work ethic. We all started work at 13. I remember when I was 14, I got my social security card as a birthday present. And my father said, "Now you're going to go out and work." And so I did. And so many of us have that experience where we have worked all of our lives and can't think of really anything else to do. But now we're in an enviable position where we can choose what we want. Like you said, we can choose what makes us
hmm
happy. We can
hmm
choose choose the job, and we don't have to put up with the politics that we had to put up with when we were much younger.
Yes, yeah, I hear that. So, Janet, we've gone through our 8 myths. You've done a great job of framing them. What would you like to leave us with holistically? If you could say one thing about boomers on the workplace in general and myths surrounding them, what message would you have to the greater workforce?
I would say don't be afraid of retiring. Many of you are reaching that age. You're going, what am I going to do? I don't know. Look at it as a new chapter. It is a new chapter in your life that does not necessarily mean you're just going to sit there and die slowly. You still have your health. You still have all your knowledge. You still have all the faculties that you had during your work years. The point now is to find something that invigorates you and makes you happy, and
Mhm.
that's going to take some planning. It takes some planning, it takes some studying, but go after what makes you happy, or the things that you have not accomplished that you always wanted to.
Okay, so that's message to boomers. What
Yeah.
message would you send to the younger workforce with regard to how they view boomers on the workplace?
We're not a threat. We're not a threat. We actually bring a lot to the table, and we could help you out. And it would be sad if you lost all of our knowledge, our institutional knowledge that we've gathered for the last 40 years. I think there's a lot of value in it, and I think you could probably maybe learn some stuff from us.
Okay, excellent. Well, Janet, thank you so much. I've learned a lot today. Do you want to share with us what you're working on right now?
Yes, I am developing an AI platform. Actually, it's called Human Layer. My website is www.humanlayerconsulting.net, and I am developing a methodology and a consulting application that bridges the gap between the AI that's being installed in companies and the unintended consequences uh, that the clients or customers are finding, because as you add more technology between a corporation and a person, the farther away you get from your client or your patient or your
Mhm.
customer. And what I am creating is a technology and a methodology to bridge that gap before it gets worse.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to check it out. Thank you so much, Janet. And let's do this again. Maybe we can look at other aspects of different generations on the workplace. I would love to hear your view on that. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to talking with you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.